Ready.
Alright, so welcome back, people. I'm here again with my pops. We decided to react to a video, ex-far right member on his journey to Islam. And I thought this was quite interesting, actually, because I'm just interested in how you can go from one extreme to the other. And I guess it's not an extreme, but do you know what I'm saying? Making that journey. What made him do that? What? I guess as well, if it's mirrors, what made you revert to it, pops?
Is that to do with the video?
Well, I'm just asking on it because obviously.
Well, before I was a Muslim, I would say I was several versions of a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
So, Caribbean culture tends to emanate around Christian-based religions.
Mm-hmm.
Islam, again, for me, I immersed myself into a Muslim community, so it wasn't hearsay, it was actually a shared experience which made it more real. Albeit I live in a Muslim community in England,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say I was a part of a
that
Muslim community, whereas when I went to Gambia, you're a part of everything that moves, so it was easy to have the discussions, ask the questions that traditionally people don't answer, hear news stories, travel and do things at that time. So, again, on a personal note, it was either, as I asked myself, either do you believe in God and are you going to do something about it? So, not just saying I had a faith, but actually signing up, becoming a gang member, and then undertaking the learning. So, albeit, like I said, I don't do the gang thing on any level. In terms of a direction, then yes, I'm a Muslim. In terms of study, at this point, whilst I hear and I research and look at other things, I do it from a scientific research perspective. I'm not there interrogating to see, I need to do this or go to the next level.
Yeah, man, you're on a journey.
Yeah.
Alright then, so let's check out the video. Ex-far right member on his journey to Islam.
Some people were just there just to march. Some people was just there for the day out. And some of them, like me, I at that point I became addicted to cocaine and alcohol, which was a big part of my marching. It's like going out with the lads for football, and that's what it became like. So I grew up in Leeds, West Yorkshire. So basically I moved to a place called Beeston, and I went to a primary school, but everything was okay. It wasn't until I went to the high school things started to turn a bit sour with the Pakistani community and the English community, the white community, which I tried to stay out of because I played rugby and I went to a thing called Boys Brigade, which is a Christian organisation. I was away from all that sort of activity.
So what exactly happened in high school?
One day I was walking home from school, I got jumped by 12 or some of the Pakistanis. Their anger towards us was because of what was happening within school and stuff like that, but I'm the one who they took it out on. So I thought it was just a one-off, like getting jumped. But me as a person, I'm quite stubborn. Like, I'm going to stop walking the same way home just because that happened to me. So I'd carry on walking the same way home. And this had happened for like 2 years. Not every day, but like once or twice a week. It was a struggling time for myself because I didn't tell anyone, so I didn't speak about it. It was just me and myself. So for 2 years I struggled with it.
I find that strange, I do. because I don't know if it's just from my personal experience, but I know like just some wicked people, and whether they're black, white. So I've seen someone get something taken from them by a white guy, and then I've seen the same thing happen to the same person by a black guy, but the response is so different, which I find crazy. I'm like, yo,
What was the response?
It made them become more
Which bit? made them-
bias, and probably scared of black people more. But I've said like, yo, but it didn't really affect you on that level when things got taught by a white man. So I just find that strange.
I was very angry. So the reason it stopped is because I ran off. I ran off from it, and I've ran into my house. I mean, mum and stepdad was stood there, and they basically said, "What's up?" And I've gone, "Oh no, the Pakistanis are chasing me." And then they've told me to go outside and fight them. So that's just the way. I went outside and I beat two of them up, and the other one ran off. And then from then I got left alone.
So how do you think that experience shaped you?
Emotionally, it damaged me as in my thought processes like towards that certain people was not the same because of the damage that they caused. So emotionally, I was all over the place with it, and it obviously damaged me as being a nice person. There weren't just me who went through this. There's loads of people who've gone through the same sort of stuff. So when you can relate to people, you follow them people, and they'd all speak about going on marches and stuff like that. And I didn't know what it was for quite a while, but it was known as the English Defence League. And that's where it led me to. At that point, I thought it was a good thing. Because when you see videos of FGM and you see videos of honour killing and stuff like that, and these people have got brown skin and beards, you're looking at it and thinking that's going to come to your country. You're seeing poppies get burnt on our streets. You're seeing extremism all over the media. So for me, we thought we was helping.
So when you first came to IDEO meetings, what did you think of them? What was your experience?
Well, I had a sense of happiness, like we're doing something about it. So it wasn't, but I didn't really think of consequence. I just thought, oh, look at this. This is these people understand what I went through. So it was relation. There's a lot of people that I stood and talked to, and they're related to what I went through. And so for me, in my head, I was just like, yeah, this is good. We're gonna stop this from happening to our kids or to our friends or family. So I looked at the 12 Pakistanis, the 15 Pakistanis that beat me up, and put it all onto the Pakistanis without even thinking.
Were you aware of the violence that sometimes was caused by the members of that group?
Well, it's funny you ask that, because the only violence I seen was when the Antifa turned up, to be honest. But that's the only violence I ever saw. Like just rowdy people. That's all I ever seen. Rowdy people and drunk and stuff like that. I think half of the people that I met didn't even know why we was there. If you ask questions, people couldn't answer the questions. So it was like some people were just there just to march. Some people was just there for a day out. And some of them, like me, I at that point I became addicted to cocaine and alcohol, which was a big part of my marching. It's like going out with the lads for football, and that's what it became like.
What did your family think of you being part of IDEO?
They didn't know. My family didn't know. My mum would have kicked me out of my house, to be honest with you. I once walked in with a UKIP banner and she told me to get out. So my mum was brought up with like different ethnic backgrounds and that. So I couldn't tell. None of my family knew that I was going marching with the English Defence League. Like I wouldn't get any pictures. I wouldn't do any of that because my mum, because I'd have been chucked out. So they didn't know.
Was there any point where you started seeing any flaws within the organisation?
I just got to laugh because English Defence League, you think bad boys, right?
I was literally just about to ask you. I was gonna ask you when you was growing up. What did you see the marches? Because it would have been, was it BNP? They would have been like National Front on it. It would have been National Front big then.
See the marches now, they're in town, but there was lots of different marches to see. There wasn't like, one day National Front came and all the blacks came and met them and crashed. It was sporadic
a time
action.
to kill.
It was some guys down that pub and we want to go in, and it would be that group versus that group. There was an organised element. You knew where the battleground was, and so whoever the leaders were at that time, normally the cock of the school or them kind of things, they would make their arrangements. Everybody else would just turn up, or not, as the case is. But it wasn't like that. English Defence League was English people complaining about immigration. For us, we were being victimised by 100% idiots who were uninformed. It was newer at the time. National Front was just, pretty much what it is today, to be honest. Carte blanche, everybody out except people of fairer complexion. What he's talking about, though, like I said, his childhood trauma that he went through is what opened him up to the need for creating relationships.
100%.
Those relationships,
100%.
As his journey will show, his skills in relationship making got better, and his choices got better as a result of it. But we all have to make choices, innit?
Yeah, definitely. I think especially for young men, but that it's easy to follow the crowd. It's easy if you're feeling like, because it's social pecking order, innit? So yeah, when you're susceptible and you're feeling in a certain way, exactly, gang culture.
Yeah. But when I started asking questions, so 2 years in, so basically for 2 years I've just been going and doing, and then I've just started to ask questions like, what is the Quran, or who is this Muhammad you keep talking about, and and asking these questions, but I was just getting like backed off, like nah, nobody wanted to answer my questions. So I was like, I started to feel, am I doing it for the right reasons anymore? Is it even working after 2 years? We're not getting anywhere. We're just doing the same thing over and over again. I've never met someone who could explain what.
Similarly, in any other instance, and you do start asking, when we went to church, when do you decide to leave church? When you start asking questions. Because as soon as you ask a question, the doors are going to shut so fast, like yesterday in London.
Well, that's...
they've got this entrenched thing where we're not going to give you any information. We're just going to tell you that you're the most wicked human being for even imagining to ask a question. Or,
yeah, definitely, I agree with that. I can remember going to church, going Gibson Road, going by Nana Johnson's as well, when we used to go to church. I remember being, it must have been 11, 12, thinking, what is going on here? Because as soon as I turned 13 and I had the choice to not go to church, I was like, I'm gone. And that was because I remember sitting in church thinking, well, like, I don't, even if it's just that I don't understand, it's when you try and ask and get information, there's no clear clear answer. So to me, it was like, well, what? Okay.
Well, I think with most things, it's kind of join and grow into it. You know, join, be 100% advocate for it. If you was a Jehovah's Witnesses, you'd have to go out and knock doors. You know, when you get big enough, you get to the top table, you don't have to knock doors maybe, but for everybody else, they need to get out and rake that following in.
Yeah, but it's also got to be about why, ain't like on my people, it's like if someone says something to me, I have to have an understanding of why. Not just, it's kind of like blind faith, and blind faith's a hard thing for me when people just do things and not even question, or not just because someone told them they should do that. It's a bit like, oh, I don't understand that aspect of religion.
Submission. You know, submission to the word, the teachings, and to the people that put themselves in that position that purport to know more than you, or ought to know more than you.
That's what my man said.
What Islam was or Muslim was in that part, or what the difference is between the Quran and Quran, and that is. I've never met someone like that, even though I asked questions, but I never got an answer within the English Defence League or any of the people around it. When you ask questions like, well, there's how many million Muslims here and we're all still alive and stuff like that, then they get like, people get funny with you, and you're like, well, so what? They can't be all Muslims can't be just bad. You know what I mean? And then you start asking these questions. That's when you actually get pushed out of the group. Actually, to be honest, you can feel that people are not looking at you the same.
Was there a moment which you would consider a turning point?
Yeah, there was a turning point in my life that actually led me to where I am today. So I left EDL, and then in my estate, I went in to do some more. I went into more crime and stuff like that, which it's not good. But I ended up in a car crash. The car was going like 90 miles per hour, and it went into like 3 parked cars. But in that situation, I broke my leg, and I got like metal in my leg, and I was in hospital for like 3 months. I died twice in theatre, and when I got out of that, and then I was in bed for like 9 months at home, I ended up reading a book with 800 pages in it about the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and I read the Quran and watched the videos. As much as I didn't want to be a Muslim, after many research, I believed in one creator, and I believed that the Prophet Muhammad and Jesus were prophets of their time. So I became Muslim in 2015, but I didn't tell anyone that I was going to become Muslim. So it was a shock to everyone, really, to be honest. All my friends, everyone. My mum, my dad, I didn't tell anybody. What happened was I became Muslim and in the mosque, and somebody videoed it, and it went viral, and that's how everyone found out.
How did you feel the first time you walked into a mosque?
Anxious, scared. I'm going to be sat with people, extremists. Yeah, all sorts were going through my head. When I become Muslim, it's the first time I've ever been in a mosque. What I can remember anyway, and it was scary. I'm sitting with people that I don't know, but don't share the same culture as me. They don't share the same thought system as me. At that time I'm quite arrogant. I'm quite egoistic. I'm really my ego's massive. I just want to be a leader of everything. I don't want to be, humbled. I thought that Muslims who wore them white dresses, I thought that Muslims dressed like that was extremists, and there was jihadis. You seen people who was your enemy, but the thing is, when you believe in something, you have to go for it. You have to take it full-heartedly. You can't keep pretending to yourself like I was.
Do you think converting to Islam was in a way part of your healing journey, letting go of hate at the addiction you had?
Well, first of all, since I become Muslim, I forgive all them Pakistanis for the sake of God. Yeah, I forgive all the Pakistanis that ever hurt me and damaged me. That emotion's gone. Secondly, yeah, I had a really bad addiction with cocaine and alcohol, and in Islam, it's forbidden to drink alcohol, and it's forbidden to take any drugs. Which, when you become Muslim, you submit to the Creator, meaning you try to follow the teachings of the Creator. So coming off alcohol and drugs has helped me massively, and going forward, it's made me into a better person. I think better, and I do things better. Also, praying 5 times a day is also a good thing for my mentality. If I don't pray, then I struggle. But when I pray, I'm everything seems to be in order.
The things people find in religion comforting is the kind of discipline.
Yeah. The point is, if you want to do it properly, then everything eventually becomes, I don't want to be seen to be doing it right to step with everybody else or not informed. But the physical rituals of wudu and stuff like that are easy enough to learn. The hard bit is memorization of Quran and then maintaining it for the rest of your life every single day, and not maintaining, believing it. So, he had a lot of demons in it. The drugs, the this, the that. For him, it must have been, or continues to be challenging.
And I struggle, but when I pray, I'm everything seems to be in order.
When you look back at those years you spent at EDL, how do you feel about it now?
I don't regret anything because it shaped who I am today. I'm a character builder, so every bit of my character is built from being in the English Defence League to what I am now. Is like, I look at the EDL and I think, well, look at the things that I've learnt from it, and one thing I take away from it is that I'll never go back to that, no matter what. I'll never hate people just for an emotional discourse that I've got. I think if people do have a problem or they have an idea that Islam is a bad thing, is that they can come and speak to us. Speak to us directly. Speak to people, because when you speak to people who hate something, you're never going to get the answer that the actual answer is.
And again, even the title, X-Far Right, what's that? Is that like some badge of bad boy? I don't know, some X-Far Right.
Yeah, I think
anybody can be a member of anything, basically.
I think he knew, like he said, the main pull for him wasn't even really the political aspect of what he was doing. Don't get me wrong, he did have some childhood trauma, which they lent into, but really, for him it was more herd mentality. See what I mean? It wasn't really the politics that made him do that, it was more the fact that he felt safe with them people.
I think it was.
I think personally,
when he talked about, got to the point, and he realised, these are the words he's using, and I've asked this question, and I realised something's happening. He's not just following; he's actually reasoning with himself.
No, but this is what I'm saying, innit? But
so
I feel like
herd mentality would just be some people's gone over there, and I'm going with it, innit?
No. So this is what I'm saying, but I feel like that kind of when I say herd mentality, I mean in the aspect of. So he's basically done that. He's gone and followed them people. But I think because the politics weren't really his politics, it didn't grip him like, so that's when he's like, actually, do you see what I'm trying to say?
Yeah,
some people
is not tangible. It doesn't really make any sense, does it, being an idiot? So at some point in time, when he wasn't stoned and he wasn't drunk, he woke up and said, yo.
Exactly.
an idiot. What else did he do? Everybody else was living a normal life, the praying and the this and that. That's normal for lots of people.
Yeah.
He just woke up and, like I said, where the trust in his relationship broke down with the EDL people, that's when he sought a new gang. I wouldn't say it was just following that. Initially, I think it was social. Had trouble at school, perceived as a bit of a bad
that's what
boy.
I'm trying to say. That's where the herd mentality comes into it.
Bad boy in. Well, it's not even herd mentality, man. Con men specialize in bringing people into things and hyping them. If it was drug dealers, they look for young people to go and
to grow,
develop business and new markets and all that kind of things. So bad boys, and if you're a big guy, you don't look for security work. You're there and a big guy says, yo, you look like a security man, come and check me. You understand? Or you get assigned things based on how you fit in with people's perception sometimes. You don't have to have been a security man ever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But the perception is always that. So with him, again, the people who make the video are obviously looking for the bite. Ex-far right member. Just a young guy who's grown up in it, really. Very much so.
Do you know what I wanted to think about? The first time when he said he went in the mosque, and he says he went there and it weren't people in my culture. I had all this going through my mind. So what was it like when you went mosque? Because I've been mosque before. So, but what was it like when you went?
The mosque is impressive, but your heart has to be open, innit? Or it's just in another room.
That's what I'm saying. But to me, I was just in another room.
It's designed to be that way. The acoustics, what they call reading is singing. So when someone reads the Quran, they sing it along to a certain melody, albeit Arabic style music, tonal arrangements, but it's singing. And if you get a good singer singing it, it's like listening to an opera singer. So in Mecca, the imams who call adhan and the morning prayer, these are not normal people. He's like the best singer in that language and all these. It's not normal. The average Muslim can get up and do it and go and do it. These people, the top singers in that kind of classical in the whole, So this is what I'm saying. The whole thing is crafted and designed and managed, packaged and present. The growth of Islam within a community. Aston didn't used to have any mosques. Handsworth didn't have any at all until recently. Now they're springing up, which just shows Sikhs and Pakistanis kind of have grown and developed in different communities, and as they get rich, they disappear off into the ether. But at poverty stage, it's very religious based, and the mosque is central to those communities. Other than that, like I said, Islam is the same all over. You go, the morning prayer. It's just not nice in England, whereas in Africa the sun's shining, you walk to the mosque. It's so much more a human experience than the English experience, which can be very cold in itself. Yes, people are happy for you, but people are very... I don't think the communities cross over in the same way, here as they did there. They're happy for you, and you still have to present yourself to yourself and sell them. I'm a Muslim, and they're looking like... but again, it's like, well, this is our religion. And there's that kind of perception here, whereas in Gambia, it's everybody's religion.
That's where cultural differences come into it. And
well, this our religion. They're right. It is everybody's our religion, but like I said, the Gambian experience was just allowed me to experience it more than just run along every morning to the mosque, pray and leave and go back, run along to the mosque and not really have the social thing. For me, I went to
When
the
you was
mosque.
in Gambia, you was a master, didn't you? I
Yeah,
guess.
no, it wasn't at work. I wasn't doing anything, so all I had to do was that. And that was the difference.
Yeah, man. All right, then. So, people, that was X-File Right member on his journey to Islam. Peace.